So the US Treasury just announced that it needs to borrow $1.6 trillion by the end of this year. Not million, not billion, trillion. And here's the twist. It's not just to pay bills. It's to keep the entire economic engine from stalling and crashing. Today, I'm going to show you why that matters to your wallet more than the price of gas or even your grocery bill. In the next few minutes, I'm going to break down why the Treasury needs this much money right now, what the Treasury General Account really is, and no, it's not a monopoly bank, why your debt keeps climbing even when the news says that spending is slowing, right? And the massive wealth transfer happening right under our noses. And don't worry, I'll keep it simple, clear, and just sarcastic enough to keep you from crying into your coffee. First up, the $1.6 trillion tab. From July to September, the Treasury plans to borrow $1.007 trillion. That's not rollover debt, that's extra money, on top of paying back the existing debt. Then, from October through December, they plan to borrow another $590 billion. Why? Because tax revenue isn't enough to cover expenses. That's why. Kind of like when your paycheck runs out on the 20th of the month and your bills just keep coming in. Except their side hustle is literally borrowing from the rest of the world. Now, if you're tracking this information, do me a favor and hit that like button. It costs less than the interest we're paying on the national debt. That's really saying something. Now, let's have a look at the Treasury's checking account. The Treasury General Account. That's what it's called. It's basically the government's checking account. All tax money and borrowed funds go in, and all federal spending comes out. Now, right now, the balance is at about $421 billion, but they like to keep it around $800 billion. So out of the $1.6 trillion they're borrowing this year, only $400 billion is just going to top off the Treasury General Account. The other $1.2 trillion, well, that's to keep the government's day-to-day spending from bouncing like a bad check. Now, let's take a look at the current debt trends. And you've probably guessed it, they're not slowing down. The national debt is currently at $36.99 trillion. By year's end, this borrowing, it'll hit around $38.6 trillion. Now, spending spiked in 2020 and 2021. Think pandemic. It dipped slightly in 2022, but here in 2025, $400 billion was added to the debt in just 1 week. By September, we're looking at a $2.3 trillion deficit, close to pandemic-era spending levels. But hey, at least we're consistent, right? If spending were a sport, America would be undefeated. So why can't they just stop borrowing? Fair question, right? Well, here's the uncomfortable truth. If borrowing stops, the entire economy crashes. You see, every dollar in existence comes into the system as debt, like already. That means if we stop adding new dollars, the supply shrinks when old debts are paid off, causing deflation, which sounds nice until you realize it triggers a mad scramble for dollars and a Great Depression level collapse. The late Milton Friedman, an American economist whose monetary theory notably influenced government policies in the 1980s, famously said, "Inflation is always and everywhere a monetary phenomenon." Translation, if they want to avoid economic collapse, they have to keep creating more dollars. Lovely, I know. So anyway, this leads us right to the great wealth transfer. Now here's where it hits home. Savers lose to borrowers, okay? Your savings accounts, your 401ks, your CDs, they earn less than inflation, meaning your purchasing power is slowly leaking away and into the pockets of borrowers. Earners lose out to owners. So wages lag behind inflation. Meanwhile, people who own assets like stocks, real estate, and businesses see them rise in value faster than costs actually go up. The result is that the rich get richer, not because they work harder, but because they own things that inflate faster than your paycheck. So, back to my opening claim. The $1.6 trillion borrowing spree isn't just about paying the bills. It's about keeping the dollar machine running, avoiding economic freefall, and continuing a wealth transfer that moves money from savers and earners to borrowers and owners. So, what are your thoughts? Was this breakdown helpful? Drop a comment with your thoughts and tell me what other money and security topics you'd like me to cover. And yes, follow me for more, because unlike the national debt, your financial knowledge should increase, not decrease. Until next Money Monday, thank you so much for watching. I've been Kevin with Money Tree and Me, providing better security and ensuring better lives. Make it a great day.